Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for our virtual first Wednesday for December. We are thrilled to have you here. My name is Jason Andreessen. I'm the president and CEO for Baton Rouge Gallery. Tonight we've got 4 amazing artists to share their latest works with you. Kelly Mueller, Nonney Odllokken, Leslie Friedman, and Paul Dean. You'll hear from every single one of them here shortly. But before we turn things over to them, a few words of thanks, a few announcements, a little bit of housekeeping before we do. First of all, this is our first time seeing you since Kinetics back earlier in November. So we want to take a minute to say thank you to every one of our sponsors for Kinetics this year, from Hancock Whitney, our presenting sponsor, all the way down every single one of our sponsors. Some incredible companies who have supported the gallery and supported art in Baton Rouge, and we want to say thank you to every one of them. This actually ended up being the second most successful Kinetics in the gallery's history, despite having to go virtual and try and navigate 2020 with Kinetics and a virtual Kinetics. So thank you to everybody who bid, who sponsored, who participated, who tuned in. It was a great night, and we want to say thank you to everybody. We also want to say thank you to everybody who gave yesterday. 225 Gives, as you know, was an effort spearheaded by the Baton Rouge Area Foundation and the Capital Area United Way. We couldn't be more grateful for them and their efforts to help nonprofits throughout Baton Rouge. But we want to take a second to specifically say thank you to everybody who gave to the gallery. We crushed the goal that we walked into the campaign with, and we really didn't know what to expect because this was a first-year effort. But Baton Rouge, you really showed up and supported the gallery, supported art in Baton Rouge, as well as a number of incredible causes that really just went to make sure that Baton Rouge is a better place today compared to what it was yesterday. So thank you to everybody who gave. And we want to say a special thank you to Lynn Pisto, who provided our matching donation. When we walked into 225 Gives, we had a $5,000 matching donation from Lynn Pisto that allowed everybody who gave to double their investment in the arts and in Baton Rouge. So thank you to everybody who made that possible. Finally, the last thing I wanted to touch on was, if you haven't heard already, we had a big announcement just after Kinetics, which was the addition of 6 new artist members to Baton Rouge Gallery. Some of you may already know that Baton Rouge Gallery, one of the things that really sets it apart from other organizations, not only in Baton Rouge, but really throughout the country, is that it is an artist co-op, which is a fancy way of kind of saying that the artists get to run the show. The artists are the only ones who can bring new artists in. They're the only ones who can kick an artist out. It is a really unique model, a unique structure. And this year, we're proud to say that we had 30 different artists apply for artist membership, the most we've ever had. And as a result of that, the screening committee, a panel of 10 current artist members elected by the full artist membership to review applications, they ultimately elected or chose 6 artists to join the gallery from that pool of 30. It is an exceptional group, and I'll read off their names if you haven't seen it on social media already. So a big welcome, a big thank you for joining Baton Rouge Gallery to John Elaine, Jeremiah Arias, Justin Tyler Bryant, Anita Cook, Brad Jensen, and Audra Kohout. We are thrilled to have them as part of the gallery, and we're looking forward to sharing their work with you and with the rest of the community for years and years to come. So be on the lookout for them. If you haven't already, feel free to go to batonrougegallery.org/artist members with a hyphen between artists and members, and you can see their work along with over 60 other artists who are a part of Baton Rouge Gallery. So thank you to all the artists who applied, but specifically shout out to those 6 who are now part of BRG. So with that, I'll say thank you again, but I'm going to turn things over to Francesca Vega, our development director, to tell you a little bit about a membership effort that we're ending off our year with. So Francesca.
Hello, good evening. As you may have seen also on social media and also in our email blasts, we're kicking off our membership campaign. It's lasting through February. So we encourage everyone who isn't a member to please become one. If you already are a member, thank you so much for helping make Baton Rouge Gallery possible. Also, as part of the membership drive, every first Wednesday, we're going to be doing a drawing for, it includes all of our members. And basically, it's just an extra way to say thank you and encourage new people to sign up. So tonight's winners are Robert Silvestre and Laura Moore.
Yay!
You both won a mask of one of the Baton Rouge Gallery artists.
The work of Leslie Elliott Smith on that mask.
And Robert, you also won a book, Collecting Raindrops, Touching Light, The Art of Paul 4-4, and also an Artemat token. Laura, you won the same thing, except you got the Baton Rouge Gallery Artist book. So congratulations, and thank y'all both for being members. Lastly, if you are a member, we'll be sending out an email tomorrow about some yard signs we're hoping that y'all want to put in your yards. So this is what they look like, and we're really excited.
Yeah.
So please become a member. You can do so by visiting our website, and I'll turn it back over to Jason.
We want to see yard signs in every neighborhood of Baton Rouge. So those of you who are members, thank you for not only supporting the gallery, but also hopefully for agreeing to have a yard sign up in your yard telling everyone that you support local art and that you support Baton Rouge Gallery. Again, that email will be going out tomorrow. Anybody who is watching who already or isn't already a member, you can go to batonrougegallery.org/join and become a member in, 30 seconds or so. There are monthly memberships, annual memberships. It's a great and easy way to support both local artists and an arts organization that's been supporting Baton Rouge and our local arts community for more than 50 years. So with that, thank you again for joining us for our virtual First Wednesday, and we're going to go ahead and turn things over to our first artist of the night, Kelly Mueller.
Hello.
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 I'm going to try and switch my camera around if I can figure out how to do it. Or not. Ta-da.
Hurrah.
All right.
Okay. This is my work. All started in 2020. And it just kind of very easily fell into a theme kind of relating to 2020 as the Book of Revelations, the biblical Book of Revelations. And so the work is all based in that theme, with a little side note that it kind of leads into the fall of man and the rise of the matriarchy. So just playing with it a little more tongue-in-cheek, there's a lot of plague imagery. You can see a lot of different insects swarming, which has been part of my other works all along, but really became timely in this work. But also started to focus in this series right here is the Seraphim. And that came straight out of the Bible. Those are the kind of the top league of angels. And Kelsey, you can even pull that up if you would. The first slide. But yeah, each of the seraphim have 6 wings and full of eyes around and within. There's 4 different seraphim. There's the eagle, the ox, the man, and the lion. So I tried to work those in. But again, a little tongue-in-cheek and having a little fun with it. These became roller derby girls. So again, kind of a playful rise to power of women conquering yet bringing peace. So, and the second to last one, if we could focus on that one for just a second, Jason. I played with that one just a little bit more. I do teach art history. And so ended up pulling a little bit of that background into this piece. Second slide, Kelsey, if we could. With a little bit of Minoan artwork. The Minoans were a society where there actually existed a matriarchy. And so instead of having a lot of warlike imagery in their artwork, Arthur Evans kind of created this narrative, but it seems to be very true, holding without. The women are shown as larger. The their head of the grandstand fresco in this piece, there's a snake goddess. So I tried that to kind of include that imagery in that second to last piece. The women are bare-chested, as was a lot of the costuming. The men are in the audience. There are some Minoan ladies looking on in the corner. The first one, I believe, just to the left, I completed just a couple days after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. So included a little, the R is for RBG, is kind of included in that. I used some, and her collar is also in the background. So she is kind of immortalized in the ox seraphim. So that's kind of those works. The centerpiece, the centerpiece, I begin or have begun the last couple of years with the Chinese zodiac, doing a piece to include the animal of the year. And this year it just so happened to be the rat, which just ended up being so timely as a plague year as it ended up being. But the white rat and the white raven are symbolizing hope. You can see the lubbers even before COVID were a theme in the work, the little grasshoppers, and their name is devil horse. They're also known as devil horse. So those are included throughout the piece as well, kind of as a swarm, and it's all entangled in this eat or be eaten sort of scenario. A lot of this is projected onto collaged paper, so sometimes that shows through in all of these pieces as well. The next pieces are the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, or taken from that. And again, Kelsey, maybe you can pull up the slides. The third one. I played with each of the four horsemen. They became cowgirls. And each one I looked at the horse. The first one, behold, a white horse. He had a bow and a crown, conquering and to conquer. He was seen as the Antichrist, and that one had a Trump theme. This one is death, had a death theme, and the horse lost its cowgirl, lost its rider, and because it was bucking, seemed to be rising into the heavens. The cows, the bovines, became kind of the wild beasts. And this one wore, the red horse, was taken a little bit from Black Lives Matter. So the cowgirl has kind of left the horse and is kneeling on the calf's neck. I switched out the swords for revolvers. So kind of took a little liberty with the biblical narrative and had a little fun with it too. Over on the wall, some more plague and pestilence pieces. Again, kind of playing with the insects, kind of taking over the earth again. Nature coming back and taking control, in a sense. The apocalypse pillows. Oh, these are more toads. I used some toad imagery as well. That the frogs and toads kind of falling from the sky, taking control. The apocalypse pillows are meant to provide a sense of comfort in the end of days. Again, playing a little tongue-in-cheek there. And the death plushies, that is the imagery from death and the imagery from pestilence. The cowgirl holding the scales, and the horse kind of being drawn into the heavens. Those are screen printed onto the front of the pillow, and various different fabrics on the back. And there is a wormwood, which is I decided I wanted to be really campy and include wormwood. If Kelsey maybe can bring up the last slide, is actually a great star falling from the heavens at the end of days, and it falls into the bodies of water and poisons 1/3 of the earth. I just wanted to play with a boar that kind of follows you. He is motorized and kind of very slowly follows people around the gallery to poison them. And that was just a great deal of fun to play with. So that was my final contribution. And that's about all I have. Thank you for coming to the reception.
All right. Thank you, Kelly. You've given us plenty to try and digest. All right, so next up, we're going to bring in Nonney Odllokken. This is Nonney's work here. The show is titled Tiny Little Fables, The Flying Cicada Traveling Show. Hi, Nonney.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Just great. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I love being here. Can you please go to the larger wall with the larger pieces?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So I thought it would be fun to have a sort of a circus / traveling theme for a traveling show theme for this exhibition. Jason, can you go to the contortionist? That is, keep going. Yeah, the one in the middle where yeah, that's the one. Next one. Well, I could talk about this one. Oh, or I could go to that one.
My apologies.
So it's different sort of themes, or it's different shows, different performers that are performing at this traveling show, the Flying Cicada Traveling Show. It's heavily symbolic and very much a narrative body of work. So it is the night of the blue moon, and you see the moons in the background, and they are they're surrounded by moonfish that swim by. It's sort of the symbol of the unconscious. In this particular piece is the contortionist. She is twisting and turning and sort of flying through the sky. So that is what that one is about. Can you go to, yeah, you could just pull them up and I could just kind of talk a little bit about them. This one here is called the Bone Reader. So she is cradling a infant while she is holding a human skull and spine. So the animals that are surrounding her, the bones, are skeletons, so they're dead. The cicadas are always a symbol of spirituality. They're the spirit messengers in mythology. So she is just, her act is to read bones, human bones, I suppose. I guess any bones. Going to the next act. This is the gigantic woman. She's huge. I incorporated, I like to use everything indigenous to southern Louisiana. So that's the moonfish or garfish, alligator gar. We not too long ago had a blue moon, if y'all remember. So that was sort of part of the whole theme of this special night. The idea is that the most unusual of the unusual come out. And there she is holding, or she is gesturing to a flying boar, who is also a magical creature. That is pretty much this whole traveling show is placed in southern Louisiana, so it's a very Cajun themed show. Let's see, can you go to the next one. I'm losing track of which one is where. No, the other way, the siren. Sorry, that is the mermaid. The siren is the mermaid. So this is the mermaid, or the siren. So she is sitting in swamp water, and she is cradling a lunar moth. Again, it's the blue moon with the fish, the moonfish. She is supposed to be sitting in water with little turtles swimming up. And again, another magical creature. I liked the idea of the siren being in the swamp water. So, and they're also like fufales, which they are magical creatures. They're sort of they're magical creatures that call people into the swamps, which is the theme that I'm constantly repeating in my work. Again, it's the blue moon. All of these are the night of the blue moon. They all wear magnolias in their hair as decorative pieces. Let's see, what's the next one? Oh, this is personally my favorite. This is the fortune teller. And as you see, she's got one great big eye, and that eye is a symbol of being able to see through you, or what your life is about. There's 7 moons, which represent the 7 days of the week that symbolize both past and future in time. She wears eggs, and she has a nest with eggs in her hair. And well, excuse me, not her hair. She wears a nest with eggs in it, which symbolizes renewal, renewals, fertility. And she is, what is she cradling? Oh yeah, she's cradling a cicada too. All the women here, they all have artificial legs. They're always spiritual beings. So if they didn't have their wooden legs, they could just float off. Their artificial legs tie them to the ground. Here is the snake charmer. So she is just covered with corn snakes that she has tamed. So that is, I think that's the last piece on that wall. And then there's all pieces to the left, which are just little studies, little segments. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So we have a dancing bear. We have another flying boar. What's the other? Oh, and a fox, which is a loup-garou. So that is that room.
We'll make our way into the hallway.
So that's pretty much that show, which I think is 13 pieces, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have some small pieces here that are, well, can be studies. They're smaller pieces that represent just one little element. We have birds carrying flowers. And again, they're swamp birds. You can keep going. And this here is a cousin vulture holding a pod, a lotus pod. More of the birds carrying picket plants, which grow in our swamps. This is that woman that you just passed by. That is a lady with alligators in her hair. This one is all 3 of these are fufale, and they're holding, I'm sorry, I'm losing you here. I am getting stuck. Okay, we're back. So these are little insects. These just little small little pieces of art. That's a hummingbird moth, series of moths. And are we lagging? So those are different types of moths that are in Louisiana. Again, this is another hummingbird moth. That's a cicada. And those two are a diptych that is the pitcher plants. I had larger versions of these for sale, I think at the last show. And that is about what I have.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Nope, I don't know what happened.
Because we are cursed, you see. We had a phone die, so give us just a second while we swap out feeds. Just hang on 1 second, and then we're going to come back on with Paul Dean and Leslie Friedman. So just a second.
All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We're going to move into Paul Dean's work. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your work with us this month. And if you would like, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about your work.
Okay. Well, I worked feverishly for this show, but most of it was spent working on two projects that are, you could put them in an art gallery, but they're not my mixed media collages. And so as we were setting up the show, it seemed like I put aside one project, said we're not going to go with that. And then I put aside the other project, the music project, said we're not going to go with that. And I just stayed with these pieces, which are maybe familiar if you've seen my work in the past. It's a lot of the same themes, cosmic themes, if you want, deep thoughts. I am actually a happy person, and I think I have a good sense of humor, but I like to, sometimes the dark side is what I am like drawn to, kind of a punk aesthetic maybe. And well, for instance, this one, this piece we're looking at is called The Lobster Telephone. And it's really like a tribute to Salvador Dali's Lobster Telephone with an old phonograph in the back. And then the Winged Victory, famous damaged sculpture. So it's kind of a pop art tribute to ancient art. I guess I'm interested in like the ancient history and the birth of the human race, and also human extinction. So, this has been my style even before 2020. I think sometimes I try to get poetic and, find something beautiful and something worth celebrating, the existence of the human race, but I'm not sure we're going to last forever. Can I say that? So these are some pieces. A lot of these were old pieces that just weren't done, and I found a way to kind of to complete them. And I was really glad that I pared it down to just this work, because I realized this is the other things I do are kind of design projects, and they're clever, but this is my most sincere work, are these mixed media collages. And I realized this is where I'm going to really put my energy now. Some larger pieces and some more thoughtful pieces. But that's a human extinction piece called Infrared Radiation. And then the next one on the right is a little bit of hope. This is called The Immortal, and The Immortal in a Jorge Luis Borges, if you know that great writer. He has a short story called The Immortal, and it's kind of a long, meandering story. But essentially, the immortal is mankind, the accumulated work and of all writers and all mankind throughout history. So this is called The Immortal, kind of as a tribute to, sadly, an unimmortal species on the planet. If you want to go back to your left, to there's a piece there called Brigos the Painter, and it has the coin. It has a whole lot of coins on it. When I was naming these pieces, I really admired this there it is right there. Brigos the Painter was a Greek illustrator. There was a Brigos who was famous for his pottery, and he's the first Greek Brigos, but someone working in his studio who's called Brigos Painter did these marvelous circular forms that show they're just all fantastic. I love history books, and I love tearing things out and the images that inspire me. I've been inspired. I loved this image for a long time. I assumed it was like a coronation. It looks like a woman is placing something on a man's head and with a walking cane. Well, when it came to doing the research, I learned that this piece is next to his cane is something that I actually trimmed out of the piece. That's a youth vomiting and a young woman comforting him. So the theme of a coronation or a celebration was kind of, or a wedding, was kind of not what the original artist had in mind. So I love those books. Some of you probably read the captions and knew that already, but I had fun with that one. There you go. I guess that's enough.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Again, I hope everybody gets the chance to come and see this show. It's up all this month until December 23rd. Please come by and enjoy this show and the work of our last artist for the night, Leslie Friedman.
Hello. Can everybody, you can hear me? Yes. Okay. This is a relatively new body of work. It's an outgrowth of work that I showed at Baton Rouge Gallery in 2018. When I showed it, the show was called Smoked Whitefish, and it was all about this fictitious biker gang. And in that show, I had these embroidered jackets, and I also had some patches. And the patches sort of came out of like, you know, feeling like I wasn't making enough work in my studio and trying to balance teaching and being an artist. So I was like, maybe I could just like create something and send it out, and it will just appear in a box on my doorstep. So I got these patches in the mail, and I had already decided that I wanted them to be these inexpensive things that people could buy. But when I got them, I wanted to combine them into something larger. So actually, Jason, if you'll walk over to the piece on the far right, the big piece, yeah. So this is the first piece that I did where I took all these patches and connected them together. And from afar, you know, these have these like really, they're just like color and pattern. And this one is a more regular pattern than the piece that we'll go to next. But I'm just gonna share, see if I can share a screen really quick. Never mind. Oh, here we go. So this is the, no, I'm gonna stop sharing. I can't do this. Okay, thank you for the close-up. So if you can see, they're all six-sided stars. And what I was thinking about here was, you know, badges of oppression, badges of honor, and then sort of like how the idea of like a pasty and thinking about, you know, how like say on Instagram, male nipples are acceptable, but female nipples are not to be seen on the platform. And so this was a piece where I was kind of knew I could make something that connected together by using that six-sided star, but I wanted to take sort of this incongruent group of symbols and see if I could put them together into one piece. I think the biggest challenge with this piece, this is the second time I'm showing it, was the first time I made it, it was very rectangular, and it had this kind of like feeling of a shower curtain. So in this iteration, I tried to extend it a little bit, and I also worked with kind of like having some holes and some breaking down at the bottom. And I may continue to work on this piece a little bit more. But for me, this is like sort of, it is printmaking. That's my background, in that it's about the multiple, but it's about piecing things together. So after I made this piece, I wanted to play around with shapes that weren't as regular as the six-sided stars. And that's where we get the piece that has the imagery that's the namesake of the show. The show is called Wrenches and Starlight Mints. And in here we have all different patches. There are wrenches, starlight mints, bobby pins, a tape measure, lip balm, condoms, shopping list, just different things that my alter ego Odlokken would have in the bottom of her purse. And it's kind of as if like every day she emptied out her purse on the table, and these things just accumulated over time. And so this one was playing with like connecting the pieces that weren't regular and having them kind of create a more organic shape. I've always been a really big fan of El Anatsui. And so when I was composing this piece, I was really trying to think about the way that he takes his elements and combines them into different wall hangings. So this is, this was also a piece that very much was outgrowth of COVID times, because for a while I didn't know what kind of access I would have to in terms of a studio. And so again, making these patches that I could design and work with fabricators, then get them back, and then connecting them. I didn't need to have any special facilities for it. That worked well. And then as some of you know, I'm currently located in Philadelphia. So I knew I wanted to show this work in Baton Rouge. And I was thinking, like, what could I possibly send that could be broken down and then be recombined into something larger? So this was a little bit scary because I hadn't shown it yet, but a piece that is pretty flexible. It's fabric and like little plastic connectors. And then on the wall, it's connected by like spacers and screws that give it that space and that effect with the shadows. And the pieces to the left of this piece, so that piece is called Her Everyday Purse. These are what I call like purse swatches, and they're a way to have a smaller section of that piece in a more kind of like, consumable way at home kind of piece. So they're all unique in that the combination of the elements is different. There's a little bit of space in between where they're connected to the acid-free mat and the glazing. And yeah, I mean, for me, this work is really exciting. I want to continue to make these wall hangings and make them even larger. And one of the things when I was getting it set up to send to the gallery, I made this giant piece of paper behind the piece so that I would be able to have like a guide for those who were going to hang it. And I started realizing, oh, it's really interesting to see color changes behind the piece. So now I'm thinking next steps, I might be painting or something directly on the wall that'll go behind parts of the wall hanging. So they'll have these like layers of imagery and the light will change. But that is kind of it for that show.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Let's see if we can switch our camera around. All right, there we go. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of our virtual First Wednesday. Again, please come by and see this show. It is up through December 23rd. It is completely free and open to the public, as it is every month, between noon and 6, Tuesday through Sunday, any day but Monday, between noon and 6, you can come to the gallery and enjoy these works. Thank you to Leslie Friedman, Paul Dean, Nonney Odllokken, and Kelly Mueller for joining us tonight and for sharing their work with us all this month. Thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it. And feel free to go to batonrougegallery.org/current to see all of these works up on the website. or purchase if you'd like. You can also go to BatonRougeGallery.org/join to become a member and be part of the membership campaign kicking off tonight. So thank you again. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great night.